Hello, my friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rain. This is Healing with the Inner Tarot. In this series, I will be using this book, The Inner Tarot by Kate Van Horn, as my guide to a 78 episode healing journey that I'm happy to share with you. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I always say I'm not a therapist. I'm a self-therapy enthusiast with some psychology education in my background. If you feel the need to seek professional help, please do so. There are a lot of resources out there for anyone who might be on a budget, who has money, who has no money. I've used free resources myself, and they are out there. You just have to kind of look for them. Also, some of the subject matter in this series might be triggering for some people, so I want you to keep that in mind, okay? Let's get to the good stuff. In the description below, I'm including a downloadable PDF workbook that you can use to do some homework after watching today's show. Included in this workbook is a tarot spread I created called Self-Appreciation for Me, and that's my gift to you. So let's get to it. Today, we are focusing on the Nine of Pentacles and how we can use this card in our healing journey. The Nine of Pentacles is about abundance, stability, success, security, independence, and achievement. It's a very warm and joyful card, and it emanates confidence and maybe even a little bit of self-sufficiency. If we look at the card, we see a woman standing in a vineyard. Her grape harvest looks very plentiful. Oh, I would love to have a vineyard. She's wearing a gorgeous gown adorned with sunflowers. She's holding a falcon on her hand. There's a large house in the background. It seems like a time of good fortune for her, and she's reaping the rewards of all of her hard work. She seems calm and at ease, and so does the falcon if we look at him. I think she's a success, and she's got her security. Maybe she's retired now from a life of committed hard work, and she can take a bit of a rest. She's a lady of leisure. Don't we all want to be ladies of leisure at some point? My gosh, I do. But her journey may not be over yet. Nines mean near completion, so she may still have a little bit of hard work to do to maintain that abundance, that security, and that success. And if we look at the reversed Nine of Pentacles, this could indicate a false sense of security. Or perhaps this is a suggestion that you might be keeping up appearances to try to impress someone. Or maybe because you lack the confidence and self-esteem to live your genuine life. You might care too much about what other people think, or maybe you're too dependent on someone. Let's see how Kate describes the Nine of Pentacles in her book. This is what she says. You did it. Pause now and reread that. You did it. Only you. Like the figure in this card who places her hand on top of the 9 grounded pentacles, we can and should be proud of the independence and self-assurance this card brings. As we work our way through the suit of pentacles, we've had some ups and we've had some downs, but we've learned a lot about ourselves. In the last episode, we were striving to be our best selves, to master our skills and dedicate ourselves to our work without distractions. Now, all that work is paying off. Things are coming into balance. We can look back on our journey and we can be proud of ourselves. We can feel gratitude for our achievements, right? We're working very hard and we're going to reap the benefits of it. Kate also says in her book, sit with that accomplishment and appreciate your independence. You've clearly done something right. Having worked hard, patiently and loyally committing to a process for seasons, if not years, you've collected resources you likely won't lose. There should be no doubt about what you deserve. When you accomplish something in a group, for example, a project with coworkers, it feels great, right? We've accomplished something together. But a lot of the time it's a struggle because everyone has their own ideas, their own way of doing things, their own thoughts, their own paces. Sometimes it can be a struggle. But when you accomplish something on your own, especially when you've put so much hard work into it and effort into it, it feels amazing. Kate shared a little excerpt of her thoughts with regards to the Nine of Pentacles, and I want to read that for you. I watched my guides hand me fruits, cherries, strawberries, melons. I asked them why they wished to make this offering. They reply, because life is so sweet, and because it is time to taste and savor your bounty. I love how she puts that. It's time to taste and savor your bounty. This is all about appreciating yourself and what you've created and achieved. So pat yourself on the back already. Show yourself some gratitude. So with all of the positive messages of the Nine of Pentacles, why don't we talk today about self-appreciation and self-validation? What is self-appreciation? Well, obviously, it's the appreciation of the self. Okay, that makes sense. So what do we mean by appreciation? Well, if we look at the dictionary definition, appreciation is a feeling or expression of admiration, approval, or gratitude. It's a favorable evaluation. It's awareness of a job well done. So if all of these great traits of appreciation can be things we can adopt towards ourselves, that's self-appreciation. Another way we can look at self-appreciation is we're admiring ourselves. We are approving of ourselves. We are being grateful for ourselves. We are being aware of our achievements and evaluating our journey in a favorable way. In other words, no doubting, no false humility, no downplaying our efforts, no picking apart the process and the journey, finding things wrong just for the sake of finding things wrong. Just being in total admiration of the person looking back at you in the mirror. And why not? If you worked hard, you deserve your favorable appreciation. And if you can appreciate yourself, you don't need to get validation from other people, anyone else, to be proud of what you achieved. Self-appreciation leads to self-validation. So this begs the question, what is self-validation? Well, if we look at the dictionary definition, self-validation is the feeling of having recognized, confirmed, or established one's own worthiness or legitimacy. Now, I think it's important to stress the word legitimacy. Some people who accomplish great things will often downplay their efforts and their achievements as something like, well, I had to fake it till I made it. Fake it till you make it, Or the old imposter syndrome where people feel like they're a fraud. When you self-validate, you recognize that you are legitimate, you are the real deal, and you are worthy of validation. So what else is self-validation? The act of affirming our ideas, feelings, actions, etc., as acceptable and again as worthy. When we can get to the point of self-appreciation, this naturally leads to self-validation. Too many people rely on other people's opinions and praise to feel as though they've done a good job, to feel as though they're a good person, to feel as though they're worthy, Yes, it feels good to be noticed, but really, in the end, the only person's opinion that matters is your own. We have to start believing that. When you seek out appreciation and validation from other people, it can lead to approval-seeking behaviors that are so unhealthy for your self-esteem, my friends. Seeking approval from others often means you haven't provided approval to you from you. So I have some examples of approval-seeking behaviors to share with you. And my hope is that you don't resonate with any of them, but I think some of us might resonate with some of them, so here they are. You'll recognize how unhealthy these behaviors are as I read them. So the first approval-seeking behavior is you find it hard to make decisions, big or small, without getting others to weigh in on it. We've all done this. We've all gone to friends. We've all gone to family members. We've even gone to tarot readers. We've asked questions. We can't make a decision on our own because we seek the approval of others. We feel sad, happy, guilty, or anxious depending on what other people think, on whether others approve of us or not. Our emotions are based on what other people think. Can you recognize how unhealthy that is? Another approval-seeking behavior, seeking excessive reassurance that you've done or are doing the right thing. You know, those people who keep saying, oh, are you still using the gift I gave you? Oh, do you still love the advice that I gave you? Tell me how you like it. Tell me, this is excessive reassurance seeking. Feeling unconfident about decisions you've made or are making. That's another one. You lack confidence. A lot of these things, come down to a lack of confidence in ourselves. More approval-seeking behaviors. You reject opportunities and experiences you want because you worry whether others will approve of it. Okay, I'm going to share something that I wasn't planning on sharing, but I'm going to share it anyway. When I was, in my late teens, I was applying to university. I applied to the science department. I wanted to go into physics. I wanted to study atmospheric and oceanographic science. I wanted to work somehow with the atmosphere. I didn't know if it would turn into astronomy or climatology or oceanography, marine biology. I just knew I wanted to work with the sky or the ocean. I didn't have the science credits. So I knew that I probably wouldn't get accepted into the program until I had the prerequisites, right? But I wanted to try it anyway. And I told my family about it. And I remember one family member started to giggle and said, oh, Rain wants to be a weather girl. And I was just like, I was so humiliated by that because the rest of them just they always followed this family member's cues. Like they were like herds, they didn't have their own opinions or ideas, and God forbid they would stand up for me. And I guess it showed on my face that I was upset because I felt like I was going to start crying. And I just let it go because there's no point in arguing with someone, like that. They'll just make more fun of you. And I remember when there was the obligatory Sunday dinners at my parents' house. I remember when I left, I cried the whole way home in the car, and I just thought, they're going to make fun of me about this. Maybe other people will make fun of me. Maybe my friends will make fun of me. And if we go back to the list, feeling sad, happy, guilty, anxious, depending on what others will approve of you or not, right? And that's sort of what I went through. And instead of applying to an area that I was passionate about and that I thought I would love, and I knew it would be a lot of hard work, and I could see my Nine of Pentacles moment at the end when I got my diploma, I gave it up. And I decided to go into business because I figured, okay, well, at least I can make money that way and nobody can make fun of me. I hated every moment of it. But I got my degree in finance and business administration. I went into the stock market. You guys know the rest. I burned out. But I always have that regret. I'm 56 as I make this video. And for me, it's too late to go back to school to do this. It's too late because I would have to drive hours to get to a university that offered the program, and you can't do it online. So I missed out on something that I really, really wanted to do because of that approval-seeking behavior of allowing my emotions to be ruled by whether or not people that I don't even talk to anymore approved of it or not. So I wanted to give you a real-life example of that, and I'm choking up a little thinking about it. And this was over 30 years ago, right? So let's get back to our list. Another approval-seeking behavior. Feeling ashamed if someone questions or dislikes your work, actions, or decisions. And this could go right back to my example. Right back to my example. So my friends, I'll ask you, can you relate to some of those bullet points that I just talked about? The approval-seeking behavior? If you can relate to them, geez, how can you try to overcome the need for other people's approval? Well, I'm going to give you some suggestions how to overcome approval-seeking behavior. Now, the first suggestion, be aware of it. Think of what triggers your need for approval. Ask yourself, when does this happen? Is this related to your job, your family, your relationships? Is it related to your appearance? That's a big one. Once you're aware of it, you can do something about it. But for me, it took decades to be aware of it, you know? It's not easy. Another way to overcome approval-seeking behavior, celebrate your successes. If you're able to congratulate yourself instead of relying on the congratulation of others, this is a good start to developing self-appreciation. Number 3, spend some time alone. I remember for years I used to say, solitude is bliss, and I still think so. But really, the goal is to try to enjoy being by yourself and enjoy being you without the need to be around other people. And you don't have to just sit alone and watch TV. You can do a hobby on your own, or go to a coffee shop and read a book. Take a solo hike in the woods by yourself. Just start to learn how to enjoy your own company. Number 4, affirmations. Just as negative self-talk can become a habit, so can positive affirmations. Provide yourself with validation through affirmations like, I'm worthy. I'm capable of making amazing decisions. I love myself. I've done a great job here. Things like that. You can say them out loud or journal every single day. Now, in order to start practicing self-appreciation, I think it's worth mentioning why it is that we like to feel appreciated. This is the good stuff. So listen to what I'm going to say. And maybe it'll encourage you to start appreciating yourself because it's going to feel amazing. So this is why we enjoy being appreciated. Number 1, we feel valued. When we do something and we receive a smile and a thank you, we feel valued. We feel useful. Being valued just feels good, right? And it helps reinforce a positive sense of self-worth. Number 2, we feel noticed. It feels good to be seen. Now, I'm sure a lot of us out there can relate to that crippling distress and sadness of being given the silent treatment by someone we love. Well, the opposite feeling happens when we're appreciated. We feel noticed. We feel important. We feel human, right? It feels good to be noticed. Number 3, we feel liked. There's something about being liked that just warms our hearts and brings a smile to our faces. Being appreciated goes along with being liked. If you're a kind, caring, and friendly person, you are most probably very liked, and people will show you appreciation for it. And it feels damn good. as my dog settles. I appreciate you, Lulu Lucy. Even all the noise you're making. Number 4, we feel a deeper sense of meaning in our lives. I personally feel like I'm shining bright when I live with a sense of meaning and purpose. And when people thank me for the things I do and tell me that it's made a difference to them, oh my gosh, I feel cherished. It's a great feeling. Number 5, we feel connected. Feeling appreciated strengthens the bond between people. When someone sees us, thanks us, smiles at us, opens up to us, feels grateful for us, and shows that gratitude, there's a connection. Maybe a small one if you don't know the person, but it's there. And it makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So when we feel appreciated, it's all good things that are a result. Imagine if you can harness that power through self-appreciation, you'll be walking on air. And just to mention, a good way to practice this is to start appreciating others genuinely. Do unto others, right? The golden rule. And if someone shows you appreciation, don't poo-poo it. Sit back, think about it, accept it, and bask in the good feeling of being valued and appreciated. Accept it, receive it. Don't say, if someone says to you, and someone said this to me once, Rain, you are precious and you are doing wonderful things. And I was like, oh, no, come on, I'm just making videos. Why didn't I accept that and receive that appreciation? I don't know. I'm still working on that. But later on, I thanked this beautiful person. Thank you, Nancy. She said I was precious. I accepted it, and it felt great. It felt really great. So why don't we ask ourselves now, what are some ways that we can practice self-appreciation? Well, I'm going to give you some things to think about here. Number 1, don't take life for granted. Isn't it an incredible thing that you're alive and you're experiencing life right now? Being given a chance at life is a privilege, even through the ups and downs and challenges and toxic relationships and promotions and being fired and being poor and then coming into some money and having kids and having pets and struggling. And even through the ups and downs, life is a privilege. You are the only person just like you in this world. And you know how you have lived your life more than anyone ever can. So isn't it only fair that you are the one who should appreciate yourself the most? Another way to practice self-appreciation: acknowledge and celebrate your achievements. Every step forward, every goal reached deserves recognition and celebration. And I'm not just talking about new achievements. Bring out the old ones too and continue to celebrate those. Keep a success journal. Write it all down every day, no matter how small the achievement might seem to be. When you write things down, you are recognizing your achievement, right? You can go a step further and you can share your achievement with someone. I remember when I was in the thick of my burnout, the idea of getting out of bed and brushing my teeth in the morning was overwhelming. I had like zero energy. But I remember I was at one therapy session one week and I told my therapist, you know what? I brushed my teeth every night this week and every morning this week. And just saying that out loud at the time made me recognize that, wow, I achieved something that seemed so insurmountable to me at that time. It made the achievement real. So share it with someone and don't forget to reward yourself for your achievement. Do something that makes you happy. Okay, back to our list. Another way to practice self-appreciation, self-acceptance. Make a concerted effort to accept who you are in this moment and in every moment, without judgment and with compassion. I read a really great quote and it said, "Speak no evil, hear no evil, and see no evil is the greatest form of self-appreciation," right? Don't speak ill of yourself. Don't think ill of yourself. Stop with the negative self-talk and see yourself with awe and pride. Remember, you are the only person like you in this world. Number 4, gratitude. Doesn't gratitude always tend to sneak into everything? I love it. It's because it's just so important for everything. Gratitude is like the cherry on top of the appreciation ice cream sundae. Make a list of everything you're grateful for and make the subject of the list all about you, and do this every day. Number 5, walk your talk. Let your actions follow your words. Be honest. Don't make false promises. When you don't walk your talk, you start to disappoint others, you lose their trust, and this has a domino effect on your self-esteem. Be proud that your word is your bond and appreciate that about yourself. So now that we have some tips on how to show ourselves some appreciation, how can we follow up with self-validation so we don't need the validation of others? Well, of course, the first step is self-appreciation, right? But other ways that we can practice self-validation are, for example, number 1, encourage yourself. No criticism. I have to stop myself. My inner voice is often critical, and when I recognize it, I switch it up to something encouraging. Number 2, acknowledge your progress and your efforts. Give yourself a pat on the back for getting that shed cleaned or for taking that first step in launching your website. Number 3, notice and accept your feelings. We are all human. It's okay to have negative feelings. In fact, it's healthy. Accept those feelings. Let them work through you and celebrate that you didn't let any negative feeling destroy your motivation and your plans. And good for you if you can do this, because this is a tough one. You know, when we have negative feelings, a lot of the times we just give up and we say, I'm not going to do that anymore. Let yourself have the negative feeling. Let yourself work through it and don't let it stop you. Number 4, prioritize your needs. Don't minimize your own needs. Don't deny your needs and be a people pleaser. There is no self-validation in people pleasing, definitely. Number 5, treat yourself with kindness. Say something nice to yourself. Look into the mirror and tell yourself how pretty you look today. I do something every morning, and I've talked about this before. There's a movie called Funny Girl starring Barbra Streisand. And there's a scene in the movie, and I don't think I can put it up for you guys because I'll get copyrighted all over the place. But there's a scene in the movie, if you look it up. Maybe I'll put a link in the description if you want to see it. She's all in leopard skin, and she's looking into the mirror, and she goes, "Hello, gorgeous." Like that. And I do this every morning. I look in the mirror and I go, "Rain, hello, gorgeous." And it makes me giggle, but it starts my day off and it makes me feel good. Okay, back to the list. How can you show yourself validation, self-validation? Number 6, accept that you are flawsome. Stop judging yourself for being you. If you don't like something about yourself, it's in your power to change it or modify it, not to judge and criticize it. And don't compare yourself to others. That's a self-validation killer. Going back to Kate's book, The Inner Tarot, with every card, she has a section called How to Connect with the Card. For the Nine of Pentacles, she writes, invest in yourself, your body, and your comfort. Drop any guilt about treating yourself. Whatever your version of shameless self-care looks like, go all in. I love that. Shameless self-care. Whatever it looks like, just do it. Treat yourself. The first part of that quote really describes how I've changed things in my life lately. Invest in yourself, your body, and your comfort. I think a lot of you guys can relate to this. As I age, I'm finding I have a lot more groans and moans when I get up out of bed in the morning. So I decided to invest in myself, in my body, and in my comfort. I got a nice, firm mattress top, new pillows, a comfortable polar fleece blanket with some polar fleece pillowcases. I'm all into the polar fleece. And though I feel guilty about this every night, I don't let the dogs sleep in my bed anymore. They have their own beds now. And I do feel guilty about that because it's so nice to cuddle with them, but I have to put my own comfort first right now. Honestly, you know, I have to treat my body well, and making my living space, especially my sleeping space, more comfortable, it's a great way to show myself some appreciation. And if we go back to Kate's book, she also writes, drop your responsibilities for a moment and do something that feels nourishing for your body and spirit. What is that for you, my friends? For me, hands-on, something nourishing is being out in nature, either walking, watching the skies, being by the lake, you know, looking at the birds at the bird feeder. It's nourishing for me. So I'm dropping the responsibilities every day and I do something nourishing for myself. One thing that I've started doing, actually, I wanted to share this with you too. I've started writing myself a letter of appreciation every Monday morning. I actually put it in an envelope and I address it to myself and I leave it on my desk and it says open on Saturday. And I'm going to show you what I write in this letter. And I really do this every week. Dear Rain, I know this past week was rough on you, but you handled it with a lot of grace and patience. You did fantastic. Look at all you've accomplished. You are such a talented woman. Keep going and don't give up. I see you. I am so proud of you. I love you. And thank you. By the way, let's do something fun tomorrow. Love, Rain. That's what I write every week. I change the wording around a little bit, but that's the gist of it. And if I could afford the stamps, I would probably put that letter in the mail every Monday because I check my mailbox on Saturdays, and it would be so nice to receive a letter from myself, you know, in the mail too. That would be great. And I just kind of thought of something on the fly here. Why don't we try to send that type of letter to someone we love in the mail, not by email, in the mail with a real stamp, you know, so that they receive it in their mailbox. I just thought of that, and I think I'm going to do that for a few friends of mine who I know would really appreciate it. And you know what? It comes back to the gift of giving for me. You give appreciation, you're going to receive appreciation. What you put out, you're going to get back. Law of attraction. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Put out negative, you're going to receive negative. Put out positive, you will receive positive. For the most part, we all have struggles and challenges, but in this case, let's write a few snail mail letters and just write to someone, I appreciate you. You know, I have a friend who sends me messages like that a lot, and I appreciate them for doing it. It's just wonderful. So Kate also has a section in her book for each card called Deeper Reflection. And for the Nine of Pentacles, she's focusing on being more self-sufficient. And I think this ties into the idea of not needing validation from others to feel good. So this is what she writes. She suggests to do some journaling. Complete the following prompts. I feel the most independent when I care and provide for myself by. Now, I can say I feel the most independent when I can accomplish things on my own that I never thought I could do. Last year, I had a big leak in the pipe under my kitchen sink. And I had no idea how to fix it, but I couldn't afford a plumber. So I went on YouTube and I started looking, and here's another story from Rain here. You guys know I live in a fixer-upper cottage that I bought in 2020. And this house, I don't even know when it was built, but all of the plumbing is like prehistoric. It's like you can't find these parts anymore. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm looking up all these different YouTube videos on how to do this, how to do that. I went to the hardware store, asked the plumbing expert, how do I do this with this thing? Showed him photos. I bought some stuff. I tried to fix it. It didn't work. Okay. I got one part fixed. That part wasn't leaking up here, but it was still leaking down here. So I went back to the hardware store and I figured things out on my own, and I bought different things and I managed to fix it. When I turned on that water, my friends, and there was no leak under my sink, I felt like James Cagney said in the movie White Heat, top of the world. If you know that movie, he actually says it to his mom, top of the world, ma, top of the world, before he blows up. But I felt top of the world. I could really provide for myself. I felt independent and self-sufficient, and that felt really, really good. So that's my example of the journal prompts that I would answer. Now, I have a link to an article in the description below. It's called The Importance of Self-Validation. You might find that interesting. And I'd also like to share some general journal prompts with you for the Nine of Pentacles. These are from the book Journaling with the Tarot. Here are the journal prompts. How are you enjoying what you have? How are you appreciating what you have? What is your favorite pastime and why? How are you in control? And how does that feel? How has self-discipline impacted your success? Now, I also have a book called Trauma Healing Journal. And for this series, I'll share a specific trauma healing prompt with you. This prompt is under the heading Self-Compassion and Self-Talk. Here's the journal prompt. Document moments when you've practiced self-compassion and the effect it had on your well-being. Now, let's not forget, my friends, that part of self-appreciation is accepting yourself without judgment and with compassion. And just a reminder, all of the journal prompts that I'm mentioning in this show and in all of my shows will be in the PDF downloadable workbook that I've created for you. So the link is in the description below. I'd like to pull an oracle card for you to emphasize the idea of being more appreciative of yourself and of validating yourself. So this card is from the oracle deck Whispers of Healing. I pulled the Reliable card. And if we look at this card, there's a beautiful young maiden. She's playing a harp on a moonlit night. There are candles surrounding her as she strums her melody. Now the guidebook says a lit candle represents the 4 main archangels. The flame is Archangel Michael, my main man, who represents fire. The smoke from the lit candle is Archangel Raphael, who represents air. I talk to Raphael every day too. The melting wax is Archangel Gabriel, who represents water. And the candle itself is Archangel Uriel, who represents earth. The archangels can guide you through the process of transforming yourself into an independent, self-appreciating, self-validating superstar. Those are my words, not the guidebook. These archangels are made of pure love, and they lead you towards the best decisions for yourself. Though sometimes it's easy to depend on others, one of our biggest challenges is to rely on ourselves. Being accountable to yourself, following through on your promises, remaining committed and dedicated to yourself and your comfort and your health and your well-being. All of these things help you to count on you. Be your own best friend. Give yourself something small to accomplish every day and take pride in your unwillingness to let yourself down. And remember, the angels want to help you. Just ask for their help and their guidance and follow through. Find self-pride then appreciate every step you've taken along the way. For every show, I also pull a card for the collective to kind of give us a general message with regards to the subject of the show. So I pulled the Hermit card from the Housewives Tarot. This is a really fun tarot deck. I love it. I chose this card because we've been talking about celebrating our achievements, small or large. This 50s housewife is taking a bubble bath and she's enjoying every minute. Maybe taking some time alone to reflect is your way of celebration, just like the Hermit. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that celebrating doesn't have to mean spending lots of money, drinking a whole bottle of champagne, or eating junk food. It's about finding something that makes us happy and doing it in a nurturing way, like a bubble bath. When we celebrate our accomplishments in nurturing ways, that makes us happy, and we are showing ourselves appreciation. So what are the key points that we should think about today, my friends? Well, let's take a look. Number 1, abundance, stability, and success comes from hard, honest, and consistent work. Number 2, achievements, big or small, should be a reason for celebration. Number 3, self-appreciation leads to self-validation. Number 4, practicing self-validation omits the need for approval from others. Number 5, approval-seeking behaviors can be reversed to self-validating behaviors. Number 6, investing in ourselves, our bodies, and our comfort is a great way to show ourselves appreciation. Number 7, we seek the feeling of being valued and appreciated because it feels good. We just want to feel good all the time. So why not self-appreciate and self-validate, right? And number 8, journaling and writing ourselves letters of appreciation helps us practice self-appreciation. So what do you think, my friends? That's our show for today. Thank you so much for being here. I do hope that some of what I said resonated with you and helped you. Please do all the YouTube-y stuff, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my uploads and my live streams, which I have at least 2 a week of. Leave me a comment. I love your comments. I do reply to all of them. I want to know what you have to say about all this. And share this with anyone you might think will enjoy it. So next week we will be working with the beautiful 10 of Pentacles. Until then, my friends, I'm tapping my heart, sending you lots of love. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.